Hey everyone, today I'm doing an oil change on a 2010 Mazda 3 with the 2-liter engine. The procedure is going to be the exact same for the 2.5, and it's going to be pretty similar to the 2-liter Sky Active. The only difference there is that the oil filter, and you'll see it in a bit, but on this car it's more towards the front, and on the Sky Active it's right after the drain plug, so it's a bit more towards the back. All right, so here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need a 17 millimeter socket. I'm using a socket and a ratchet. If you want, you can use one of those ratchet keys or a regular key, but it's 17 millimeter. Then you're gonna need your oil filter. If you're getting a Fram made one, the part number is 3614. You're going to need some oil. Yeah, the shocker right there. Now, the 2010s require 5W20, but the 2011s and up requires 0W20. So just, check with your owner's manual. This is optional, but you're going to... I'm using an oil filter tool just in case it's hard to come off. This is the one I like, but there's a million different kinds. Use whichever one you prefer. You'll also need a drain pan, because if you don't use something to put the oil in, that's going to be all kinds of a mess. And some rags are preferable, and maybe a flashlight. Alright, so here's a little trick. Take off the oil cap. It'll let air go through, and it'll let the oil flow better when you take out the plug. Alright, now we're underneath. Now we're blessed on this car because we don't have to take off the whole belly pan. There you can see I'm pointing to the oil drain plug. That's the 17 millimeter, and that's the oil filter. Alright, so I just broke loose the drain plug. Now I'm unscrewing it by hand. I'm using a rag just to minimize the spill. Another trick is to, as you're unscrewing the bolt, to put pressure on it towards the pan. So you're like pushing it towards the pan. That's just also a little trick to avoid making a massive mess. All right, now we're taking off the oil filter. Now I was the one who did the last oil change, so I was able to get it off by hand. Now you see, yeah, I got the pan that's been in the way. I apologize about that. Now you gotta expect this thing to the oil's gonna leak out, right? Because it's full of oil. Now you see, I'm moving my hand out of the way because I'm expecting it to leak, but it took more of a while. I don't know. There you go. Anyway, so yeah, you gotta expect it to all drip out. Yeah, if you wanna, you gotta make sure you got your pan close, and maybe a few rags to wipe yourself off. All right, now I'm just prepping the oil filter. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting some oil on my finger, and I'm putting some on the rubber gasket that's on the oil filter. You can use old oil as well. I'm just using new here, but that as long as there's some kind of oil on it, that's what's important. All right, so now here's the mating surface. I'm just giving it a quick wipe down. The one thing you gotta make sure is that the old oil filter gasket came off. Because what sometimes happens is that it stays stuck, and then if you put the new oil filter you're gonna create a double gasket that we call, and it's gonna leak. So you really gotta make sure that the old gasket's gone. Now I'm screwing the new one on. You gotta go slow at first. You gotta make sure it catches properly. You don't want to cross thread it. And now I think, yeah, there you go. It caught, so now I just spin it on. Now you want to make sure this thing is obviously tight enough so that it doesn't leak, but you don't want to over tighten it. Now this is supposed to be hand tight. Now I tighten it with my hands and I make sure it's not going anywhere. But please, for the love of God, don't tighten it with a tool, because then it's a pain in the ass when you got to remove it, but also there's a higher risk of breaking things. All right, now you want to make sure your drain plug's back in, and now it's the fun part. We're adding the new oil in. This one takes 4.2 liters. Just gonna start it up here. There you go. That's one happy Mazda. She was kind of overdue there. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna let it run for a bit. Then I'm gonna let it sit. That's just to get the oil flowing and to get an accurate reading when we check the dipstick. Now I'm pulling it out, wiping it off. Now this one takes 4.2 liters. I think 2.5 is like 5 liters. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful or entertaining or even both. And now you can, you're free to enjoy your freshly lubed up Mazda 3.